woman squeezes the green fruit. A drop of fruit juice is squeezed into the teacup. This drop is an important part of the woman's plan. She puts her finger into the liquid in the cup. She stirs it counterclockwise 3 times and silently recites for 3 seconds in her mind. She drinks it all at once. A magical scene unfolds. As the medicine takes effect, the woman's body suddenly disappears. This is what we bring you today, the Spiderwick Chronicles. Mary's family is very happy today because they are moving to their ancestral home. The ancestral home is an old villa in a small town. Mary opens the wooden door. A musty smell hits them. Everyone enters the house. They are amazed by a large guava tree. Mary explains it was planted by their great-grandfather. The old villa is spacious. It has 6 or 7 bedrooms. The children immediately begin to explore. Jared and his younger brother Simon enter a room. They find several claw marks on the wall. Simon thinks these claw marks are big and deep. They were definitely not made by a person. Jared thinks it's cool. He says he claims this room for himself. Let me explain why they're moving. It turns out Jared has always been different from other children since he was young. He daydreams all the time, thinking about strange things, making everyone think he's 1% genius and 99% mentally ill. This has caused harm to young Jared. The reason they chose this small town is that Jared's aunt is receiving treatment here. Dr. Falk, who is famous for treating her. It's a good opportunity for Jared to get treated for his illness. Jared couldn't fall asleep that night. At this moment, he was still very excited, but a loud noise startled him. He called out the names of his brother Simon and his sister, but there was no response. He went outside. He picked up his sister's training sword. Although he was scared, curiosity got the better of him. He opened the cabinet that made the noise. He poked inside with the sword, but he didn't hit anything. Just as Jared was feeling puzzled, he noticed that the sword's tip was covered in blood. Right at that moment, something fell out of the cabinet, revealing a painting stuck at the back. It depicted a fierce monster. The man was named Falk. He was visiting an antique shop with his daughter Carla. The shopkeeper introduced them to a very old mineral and mentioned its great value. Carla put the stone in her mouth. After chewing it a few times, she spat out something like ember. Falk observed it closely. It seemed like there was a swirling dark shadow inside. This was exactly what they were looking for. The next morning, Jared's sister, Anna, was very angry because Jared had bent the sword. Anna was a member of the school's fencing team. She couldn't train today. Jared explained the sword's tip had pierced something. There were even traces of rat blood on it, but no one found anything. Mary felt that Jared's condition seemed to be worsening, so she took him to the hospital. They happened to visit Jared's Aunt Lucy at the hospital. The nurse told her that Lucy had not said a word since coming to the hospital. As soon as Lucy saw Mary, she grabbed her arms. She urged her to take the children and leave quickly. When everyone came back, Mary told everyone about what happened at the hospital during the day. This caused panic among the children. The room was also very quiet. Suddenly, there was a noise coming from the nearby wall. Jared said that it was the same sound he heard last night. Mary took the lead. She swung a shovel and broke open the wall. Everyone saw several dried-up mice. This frightened the children. It revealed more than just that. There was also a dark hole in the wall. They didn't know where it led to. Jared wanted to go in and take a look, but Mary pulled him back. When everyone dispersed, Jared still wanted to go in, but Simon was the one who stopped him this time. Jared got angry and started arguing with his brother. Simon was also frustrated. He went outside to get some fresh air, but they discovered a firefly. He observed it carefully. He noticed something peculiar. It had a body that emitted a normal glow, but it had a human face. Simon captured it in a jar. Strange sounds were heard again in the house. Jared successfully crawled into the opening. At the end of this passage was a hidden room. Inside were some peculiar objects. Beneath a portrait of King Arthur, Jared found a book. However, its contents were missing. Jared was a bit confused. Right at that moment, a mouse appeared. Several lines of text appeared on the mirror. Jared got scared and ran away screaming. He found his mom and Anna. He told them about his recent encounter. He also asked his mom to leave this place, but Mary didn't believe such things. She wanted to take Jared to see a doctor. Falk cut his palm, letting the blood drip onto the amber. A strange scene unfolded. The blood was instantly absorbed by the amber. This scene was witnessed by the neighbors outside. Carla quickly closed the curtains. Just as they were about to relax, the doorbell suddenly rang. Falk picked up a knife and handed it to Carla. Carla climbed onto the ceiling. Remaining vigilant, Falk opened the door, only to find Jared and Mary at the door. It turns out this Falk was a monster in disguise. The real Falk and his daughter had already been killed by 2 monsters. yet Jared's family was unaware. Afterwards, Falk began treating Jared and said to him, the strange phenomena and creatures appearing in the house were all his illusions. Falk asked Jared if he had seen a strange painting in the house, because Falk had heard Mary mention it before. Seeing the horrifying monsters in the painting, Falk didn't seem surprised, because the painting depicted Falk himself. This made him certain the field guide he was looking for must be in Jared's old mansion. Falk wanted to learn more about the situation, but was interrupted by Carla entering the room. Mary followed closely behind. She said Lucy was missing. The treatment had to be terminated. Mary took the group back home. She found a large cardboard box. Inside were search equipment like flashlights. After leaving Carla and the children behind, she prepared to search for Lucy's whereabouts. After exchanging a few quiet words with Carla, Falk and Carla also left. Just as they were leaving, strange sounds echoed from the house again. They arrived at the secret room. Jared was watching a videotape. It played the recording of Lucy and his father. At that moment, Jared's attention wasn't on the videotape. Instead, he was playing with his phone. He wanted to capture the strange mouse that appeared yesterday. Anna walked over and snatched the phone. Jared explained this by saying, their great-great-grandfather, Arthur Spiderwick, after years of exploration, discovered that these magical creatures truly exist. Arthur also created a book based on his observations and experiences, titled Field Guide. For some unknown reason, all the content inside the book was torn out. The current videotape and mirror were the evidence, while the others still didn't believe Jared's words. Suddenly, a thick book fell to the ground, startling everyone. It was only then that they believed Jared's words. The children began to act quickly and energetically. They dragged out a bag of flour and spread it all over the house. This way, they could discover the footprints of the mysterious creatures. They also installed surveillance cameras. On the other hand, Mary was still searching for the missing Lucy. With the help of people from the town, at a street corner, just as everyone dispersed, Lucy suddenly appeared. After realizing no one was around, she entered a convenience store. Her untidy appearance caught the attention of the store clerk. The clerk approached and stopped her. Lucy's words confused the clerk. She explained that it used to be a grassy field. The clerk was surprised and reached out to touch Lucy's face to confirm her identity. It turned out that this clerk was Arthur Spiderwick's assistant. Lucy expressed that she was running out of time and had to hurry to the Goblin Market. The clerk opened the door to a storeroom, revealing that it didn't contain cleaning supplies, but it turned out to be a forest. Mary had already found a spot under the bridge. A bloodstained boot caught her attention. Just as she was about to approach and examine it, she was startled by the sudden appearance of Falk. Falk said that someone had seen Lucy entering the supermarket. The two of them hurried towards the supermarket. Jared's alarm suddenly went off. When he arrived, he found that the monster drawing was on fire. Strangely, the camera didn't capture anything. Jared went upstairs to find Anna. He hoped his sister could help. She was busy with her homework and ignored him. She believed it was another one of Jared's pranks. Jared started to explain. He had someone process the surveillance footage. In the edited footage, Jared saw that he was the culprit who set the fire. This left Jared stunned. Simon entered Jared's room. He wanted to comfort his brother, but at that moment, strange noises came from downstairs. Jared immediately rushed to the secret room. It was his chance to prove himself. When he arrived, he saw the missing Aunt Lucy having an argument with someone. On the other side was the talking mouse. They discovered that someone had broken in. The mouse disappeared instantly. Lucy, on the other hand, picked up a pair of scissors. She glared at the two boys. Jared explained that the two boys were her nephews. Lucy didn't believe it. She restrained Jared. She stated, the monster's true name is Mulgareth. It has the ability to shapeshift. It can turn into anything it wants. Seeing that Jared wasn't afraid of the scissors, Lucy let go of him and explained that the monster is afraid of iron. This would prove that they weren't lying. She then told them Arthur illustrated the field guide. The book contains records of all the magical creatures and information to prevent the monster from getting it and causing harm. She tore out the pages herself and hid them in various corners of the town. During this recent period, Lucy sensed Mulgareth's presence. She escaped from the hospital. The pages containing information on how to defeat Mulgareth were destroyed. This made the invisible mouse very angry. It started knocking things around in their room. Lucy explained, the mouse name is Thimbletak. Most of the time, it's a trustworthy companion, but for now, it's best not to provoke him. They are temporarily unable to eliminate Mulgareth, so they must find the pages first. This task can only be accomplished by Jared and the others. The pages are hidden in various corners of the town. Each location is sealed with Lucy's magic. They must solve the puzzles to unlock the seals. Only then can they retrieve them. Lucy instructed Jared and Simon. They must find the pages as soon as possible. Otherwise, more and more people will suffer from the disaster. Lucy pulled Jared aside. She told him not to doubt himself, even if others think he's abnormal. She's the only one who knows the things that appear in Jared's mind are his innate abilities. Lucy took out a circular stone. There was a hole in the middle of the stone. She indicated that this stone is very important and asked Jared to keep it safe. Just then, Mary and Falk, who heard the news, rushed back. Falk was preparing to take Lucy back to the hospital. At that moment, Lucy warned Mary not to forget what she had taught her before. Inside Falk's car, Lucy said the other party no longer needs to hide because she had already seen through Falk's true identity. Falk wasn't surprised and admitted it generously. Lucy still couldn't understand how Falk framed Jared. Falk just smiled faintly and then pointed to the back seat. Lucy was surprised as Carla was sitting in the back seat. Later, Lucy was taken to a forest. Falk asked her about the whereabouts of the pages. Lucy, of course, refused to say. This also made Falk very angry. Just as he was about to kill Lucy, Lucy transformed into countless petals and scattered in the wind. Not long after, the hospital notified Mary of Lucy's passing. The house was filled with a somber atmosphere. On that day, everyone was preparing for Anne's funeral. But Anna witnessed a strange scene. Her fencing coach appeared here, but then disappeared. That same evening, Falk arrived at the cemetery. He dug up Lucy's coffin, but upon closer inspection, it was Carla lying in the coffin. Falk's intentions were now clear. They were trying to find a way to make Mary's family stay here. Otherwise, if they move away, all their efforts would be wasted. From then on, Falk started focusing on Jared's treatment, while Carla lured Simon to gather information about the family's movements. Jared followed Lucy's words. He started using iron objects to test everyone around him. He even bought cookies with iron elements. Everyone had to eat a piece. On this day, Jared, accompanied by Simon, was ready to search for the pages, but Simon went off to play with Carla, so Jared had to go alone. Soon, he found a small door sealed with magic at the train station. Jared used a hammer to smash and a pry bar to pry. Physical attacks won't work. He started considering using magic attacks to break through. Just at that moment, Carla arrived with Simon. Looking at the totem on the door, Carla felt a bit fearful. She told Jared that it might be a musical note of some kind. After saying that, she left this place. Simon expressed this should be Lucy's favorite song. They all started singing loudly. Unexpectedly, they actually broke the magic seal, based on the content and illustrations in the pages. Simon's friend Hatcher recognized it at a glance. It's a large stone by the lake. Just as they excitedly rushed to that location, they found that apart from the stone, there was nothing else there. Suddenly, Simon noticed something unusual. Looking through the hole in the middle of the stone, it seemed different from the normal world. Everyone else noticed the clue too. They gathered around to investigate. Looking out from the hole, several unicorns ran swiftly into the lake. Playing inside it, the children were very excited. Carla returned home. Falk questioned her. Why didn't she act together with the children? Instead, Carla remained silent. Falk burned her face. In order to achieve his goal, Falk personally took action, carrying a box of documents to Mary's house. He stated, "These are all belongings left behind by Lucy." Falk then said he could get Mary a job at the hospital, but his true intention was to prevent Mary from moving with the children. Mary neither agreed nor refused. After saying goodbye to Falk, Mary went inside to organize Lucy's belongings, where she suddenly heard Lucy's voice. The television next to her turned on suddenly, playing a video of Lucy. Later, Mary found visitation records, but the records showed Lucy hadn't received any visits during her hospital stay. Mary quickly unplugged the TV, wanting to go outside for some fresh air. On the other side, Anna went to the fencing club because she had seen the coach's figure at the funeral that day. She wanted to investigate the relationship between the coach and Lucy. In a notebook, Anna was surprised to find an old photo of the coach and Lucy. The photo was taken 50 years ago. The coach looked very young, but how old was she exactly? Just then, the coach suddenly returned from outside. Anna quickly hid inside the closet. From the conversation between the coach and her teammate, it was not difficult to know that the coach was training Anna in preparation for something. Anna was very puzzled. What were they preparing for? Mary was arguing with her mother. Why have you never visited Lucy? However, the mother says it's to protect them. At this time, Jared and Simon also returned home. They wanted to ask Thimbletack for help in finding other pages, but they didn't expect Thimbletack to still be angry and end up breaking Jared's arm. When they arrived at the hospital, they unexpectedly discovered a secret. Simon saw Carla here and realized Carla appearing here was not a coincidence. Since the first time they found the pages, Simon had noticed Carla's change in expression, but he didn't say anything. What Simon didn't expect was that Carla was a spirit capable of foreseeing death. Whenever someone was about to die, Carla would take on their appearance. Carla appearing at the hospital was also to monitor the family's movements. Jared met Falk and wanted him to help interpret the pages. This made Falk extremely happy. Now he didn't have to steal anymore. He picked up the cookies Jared brought and took a bite, but the iron-rich cookies immediately caused Falk's body to react abnormally. White smoke started emanating from his whole body. He involuntarily revealed his true form. Jared accidentally saw through Falk's true identity. Yet Mary still didn't believe her son's words. She thought they were all just children joking around. With the help of younger brother Hatcher and Umiko, the group finally caught Thimbletack. Unexpectedly, Thimbletack said that Lucy was still alive. Thimbletack initially intended to go and help Lucy, while he discovered a kind of magic that prevented him from leaving the house. Jared found it hard to believe Thimbletack because his own arm was broken by Thimbletack. Simon held a different opinion. He played a video left by Arthur. Arthur stated in the video that Thimbletack was an excellent assistant. Thimbletack said that Lucy must have made a deal with the goblins. She was trapped in the fairy world. Afterwards, Thimbletack, in order to show loyalty, revealed the locations of 4 other pages to them. So Jared divided the map into 4 parts. The 4 of them then split into 2 groups and started their missions. Each seal hiding the pages with magic had unexpected ways of being opened. Jared and Hatcher arrived at the first location. They painted a doorknob on the wall with paint. Surprisingly, when they turned it, the seal actually opened. When they arrived at the second location, they encountered an accident. According to the clues provided by Thimbletack, there was a giant monster guarding this place in the river. The 2 of them had to leave first. On Simon and Amika's side, they encountered the same problem. In the abandoned factory at the second location, Carla, who was following Simon, accidentally got burned by steel. Exposed her whereabouts. She told a sad story to the 2 of them. This place used to be a forest, but due to human destruction, it has become what it is today. Seeing tears welling up in Carla's eyes, Simon felt some sympathy. The female neighbor knocked on Falk's door. She said, their own hen hasn't laid eggs for a long time, and today it suddenly fainted and won't wake up. She said, it's all related to what Falk planted in the garden. What the female neighbor didn't know was, Falk was also angry because his own identity was exposed. The arrival of the female neighbor made him even angrier. Falk immediately pretended to look guilty. He invited the female neighbor to taste the newly made pie. The female neighbor then calmed down her anger, but as soon as she took a bite, she expressed surprise. This is too delicious. What she didn't know was, the pie had magic in it. It would make people go crazy and addicted. They would keep eating until they burst. What Falk was cultivating in the yard wasn't any ordinary plant. It was a dragon from mythical legends. At the same time, the children were at home preparing the magic potion mentioned by Thimbletack. This magic potion could open the gate to the fairy world and rescue Lucy. According to Thimbletack, they also needed a drop of human tears. After Simon did as instructed, he found that the result was different from what was expected. Mushrooms emitting a purple glow grew on the table. The mushrooms kept growing bigger, formed a ring. All the lights in the house went out, but Lucy didn't appear from the rain. It was the firefly that Simon had caught before. The firefly emitted a dazzling light instantly. Jared was about to react, but it was too late. It turned out to be Thimbletack's trick to escape. Simon tried to catch the firefly, but Jared was one step ahead and caught it. He instantly killed the firefly. Simon was about to get angry, but suddenly Yumiko passed out on the ground. In the small town, many people experienced the same condition, falling into a coma without any warning signs. Medical personnel arrived, and Anna returned home, but she found her teammate hiding in a corner of the secret room. He was holding the dead firefly in his hand. What happened next was shocking. The firefly suddenly emitted light. In an instant, it regained vitality. Shortly after, Falk somehow managed to deceive Mary, making her engage in an ambiguous relationship with him. Falk even went directly to Jared's house and snatched the pages from a book. But even that wasn't enough, because the page about the dragon was still missing. So he threatened Jared. Simon to help him find that page, or else he would eat their mother. Jared and Simon planned to seek help from Thimbletack again, but they were ignored. With no other options, Jared wanted his mother to use the Insight Stone to see Fox's true identity, but this time it didn't work. Simon felt extremely hopeless. However, Thimbletack suddenly appeared in front of them. Even though he didn't like Jared and Simon, Lucy gave him an order. He must help Jared. That's why he appeared. He told Jared, "The page about the dragon is in this house." Jared asked, "Why does Fox want it so badly?" Thimbletack explained, "Fox wants to use the knowledge recorded on the page to breed a real dragon. Recently, in the town, people falling into a coma is also because of this reason. Dragons release toxins during their growth, paralyzing people's nerves. Sooner or later, no one in the town will be spared. At that time, Fox will devour everyone. The situation is urgent." Jared immediately started to act. Thimbletack told him, "The page is behind the door, but there are two ways to open the door. The first way opens to their own house. Only by using the second way to open it can they see another space." After some attempts, when Jared turned the key upside down to open the door, a room appeared before their eyes. It was filled with glass jars and various flowers and plants. It was quite beautiful, and the page about the dragon was on the wall. Jared quickly returned to the original world. Nevertheless, he stumbled upon a scene where Mary and Fox were kissing. Ever since Anna witnessed her teammates' magical performance, she went to find her teammates and coach, intending to ask for clarification. The coach poured some herbal tea from a pot, a variety that Anna had never seen before. The coach brewed it for her and said, as long as she took a sip of the hot steam, she could forget about these strange things. Anna was even more determined to find the truth. The coach didn't say much either, but drew her sword. She told Anna that if she could win a point, she would reveal everything to her. After dozens of rounds, Anna couldn't win. She chose another approach. After inhaling the magical steam, Anna immediately felt her familiar world collapsing. A brand new worldview formed in her mind. She finally believed that everything the children had said was true. What surprised her even more was the coach took off her gloves, and her pale hands instantly turned to ashes. The coach was originally a half-human, half-elf, who had responded to Lucy's call and went to conquer Mulgareth, but was unsuccessful. Her hands were severed by Mulgareth, but to assist Lucy, the coach had stayed here all along, training the strongest swordsman. Unfortunately, the two swordsmen who were later sent, it also ended in failure. The only thing that can kill Mulgareth is a weapon called the Vorpal Sword, and the person who wields it must be sincere and pure. Anna immediately realized that her two younger brothers might find a way to locate the Vorpal Sword. As soon as she returned home, she was stripped and fell to the ground. It turned out that her shoelaces were tied together. It was obviously done by Thimbletack. Jared and Simon rushed out of the house and sprayed iron water on their sister. Seeing no reaction, the two of them felt relieved. After hearing Anna's story, Jared made the decision to go to the Goblin Market with the others. Just as they were preparing to leave, Anna's teammates also arrived there. She also wanted to find the Vorpal Sword to avenge the coach by killing Mulgareth. Jared and the others found the shopkeeper, who opened the portal to the magical realm for them. As they walked, they scattered crumbs from the bread they bought at the supermarket continuously, because if they didn't do so, they would never find their way back. After going through hardships and obstacles, the group finally arrived at the Goblin Market. Jared got straight to the point and expressed their desire for the Vorpal Sword. The merchant said, as the only item of its kind in the world, to acquire it, everyone had to give him 1,020 for teeth. But when everyone's teeth were combined, they only had a little over 100. Fortunately, the merchant said they could reduce the price of the Vorpal Sword by playing a game. After taking turns playing the game, they ended up owing the merchant over 500 teeth. Now the group was in despair. Jared, as expected, had a rich imagination. He gave a signal to the others. While everyone was still pondering what he was up to, Jared grabbed the box and ran. The others only realized then and hurried to catch up with him. The furious merchant yelled from behind. Before long, the group managed to escape. As soon as they returned home, they found Simon stuck to the door frame with strong glue. It turned out that shortly after they left, Simon had suggested going back home to guard against Fox taking advantage of their absence. In reality, he wanted to steal the pages about Dragon and hand them over to Fox and Carla. However, all of this was discovered by Thimbletack, and he glued him to the doorframe. Anna rescued Simon from his predicament. Jared didn't have time to scold his brother. He opened the sword box and was surprised to find there was only a sword hilt in the box. He suspected that Anna was also involved with Simon in diverting everyone's attention. Jared's furious expression was witnessed by Mary and Falk, who had returned home. Seeing their son in such a frenzy, Mary wanted to take Jared to the hospital. Falk had the same idea. Jared, who was injected with a sedative, had a hallucination of his aunt covered in flowers. On the other side, Anna showed the hilt to the coach for inspection. Unexpectedly, the coach expressed that it was indeed the Vorpal sword. The Vorpal sword needed to be summoned to reveal its true form. After a series of actions, Anna realized she couldn't summon the Vorpal sword. Surprisingly, one of her teammates successfully summoned the Vorpal sword. On another side, Jared, who was locked up in a mental hospital, had to endure Falk's interrogation every day. No matter how much Falk threatened or tempted him, Jared refused to reveal the whereabouts of the pages about Dragon. One day, Jared knocked down the guard in the ward and escaped. He was caught by his mother when he didn't expect it. Mary also blamed Falk for not keeping an eye on Jared. Just when Jared was almost in despair, the resurrected Firefly appeared. It turned out that he came to deliver a message to Jared. Following the Firefly's guidance, he found Lucy's message under the carpet. It was the recipe for the invisibility potion, yet he didn't have time to prepare it. He was caught by Falk and thrown to the ground. The floor shattered with a sound, revealing the pages about Dragon inside. Mary arrived at Falk's house, but unexpectedly discovered human remains in the refrigerator. She immediately realized that everything her son had told her was true, but it was already too late. Upstream of the town's river, toxins released by dragon hatchlings had already contaminated it. Everyone who had come into contact with the water fell into a coma. The people who were not poisoned had their brains controlled by spores cultivated by Falk, becoming Falk's puppets. Seeing the town falling into chaos, Jared became very anxious, but he didn't know what to do. At that moment, Thimbledak appeared, and he told Jared that there was a way to escape. Just as they were about to leave the mental hospital, Jared's mouth was covered by a pair of large hands. It turned out to be Anna, who had come to rescue him. Anna's face was covered in mushrooms, and it was a very effective tactic. It seemed like they were about to escape smoothly, but Jared accidentally made a sound. It instantly attracted the attention of the mushroom people. Before long, they were surrounded in an instant. At a critical moment, music suddenly blared from the street. Catching the attention of the mushroom people, Anna led Jared into the forest. There, they reunited with their comrades once again. It turned out that Simon had only pretended to betray them. His intention was to find out Falk's movements. He had also stolen the antidote. Everyone was prepared to put an end to all of this. Carlo was fully focused on cultivating dragon eggs. The mushroom army was also bringing people to serve as nourishment for Falk's dragon egg cultivation. The situation was urgent. Jared had an idea. Before long, Jared and Simon knocked on the door together. Meanwhile, the others entered through a different entrance. Unexpectedly, Hatcher was caught by the mushroom people. While searching for the field guide, Anna and her teammates were also having difficulties. After finally finding the guide, they were discovered by a mushroom soldier. But at that moment, one of her teammates noticed that the mushroom person in front of them was her father. She was about to awaken him, but Anna grabbed a vase and knocked him down. On the other side, Simon convinced Carla, and they took more antidotes to the forest. Seeking the help of the elves, Jared was also found by his mother. To buy time for everyone, the two of them decided to attend Falk's prepared dinner. Falk was boasting about his victory, but he didn't realize that he was about to lose. It turned out that Thimbletak had brought the death apple, and it had replaced Jared and Mary's wine with invisibility tea. Falk watched as the two of them vanished into thin air. Just as the two of them escaped, they encountered Lucy covered in flowers. Lucy expressed that she came to bid farewell. Jared thanked his aunt for her help. Lucy hoped that Jared would become a kind-hearted boy. After bidding farewell to Lucy, the two of them returned to the real world. Anna and her teammates were about to leave, but they ran into an angry Falk, or rather, Bulgareth. Anna's sister grabbed the field guide and placed it on the lava-flowing dragon egg to threaten Falk with it, but Falk seemed indifferent to it. He endured the intense pain caused by the poison wine and broke off his two horns, transforming them into weapons. Just at that moment, a teammate appeared behind Falk with the Vorpal sword in hand. Just as she was about to decapitate Falk, the Vorpal sword refused her summoning. Perhaps the Vorpal sword disdained the act of ambush. Falk sent the teammate flying into the wall. Just as the teammate was about to be in danger, a beam of light flashed. Anna finally summoned the Vorpal sword, and then she engaged in the final battle with Falk. Jared noticed at this moment that the field guide had magically moved in front of him. It turned out that Thimbletak had learned from the clues in the guide that there was another way to kill Mulgareth, and that was to awaken the giant creature in the river. While among the group, only Simon understood the language of the elves. At this moment, Simon had successfully found assistance, and little lights started to shine in the forest. Soon they gathered together. On the other side, Jared, with Thimbletak's help, learned how to awaken the giant creature. Together with his mother, they blew a whistle. On Anna's side, she was getting exhausted. Falk took advantage of her vulnerability and slashed Anna's thigh. She was about to be in danger, but Mary appeared, holding a bottle filled with molten iron, and sprayed it onto Falk's face a few times. Falk was in great pain. His attention was diverted. Mary took the opportunity to rescue her daughter, but just as the group was about to take a break, they saw Falk revealed a dark and menacing face, and the three of them were stunned with fear. Immediately after that, a giant hand clenched Falk in its palm and disappeared into the night. Looking outside the big hole again, countless lights rose into the sky. It was the elves summoned by Simon. At this moment, they carried the antidote, rescuing the people wherever they went. The people woke up, and the disaster was finally over. The people controlled by the spores regained consciousness, and at that moment, the coach, Matt Lucy, everyone gathered together, celebrating the end of it all. The Spiderwick Chronicles was released in 2024. Director Kat Coro crafted a rich and colorful plot, captivating many viewers. The film tells the story of brothers Jared and Simon, who embark on an adventure and exploration to defeat the evil monster and ultimately succeed with the help of their companions. If you enjoy my channel, please subscribe to it.